All right, so this is session 2 of Dead Scare. We are playing from the version that's available right now on DTRPG, which is essentially the version given out to Kickstarter backers. So that's the one I'm playing from. I backed this as a Kickstarter. This is a Powered by the Apocalypse game. It does self-describe itself as that. A PbtA game about zombies in the 1950s. But we're dealing with the women and children and the characters who are sort of outside, maybe at the margins of society, or in what is generally considered a weaker position. We're dealing with those circumstances. Last session we set up, and I'll come back and do a quick recap of where we're at that point. This is a game we were just talking about before I started recording about the tone. Last time we kind of talked about Shaun of the Dead as Touchstone. Not Gonzo, but we are not full on George Romero. There's some nasty stuff that's going on. We had some difficult choices last time, and one of the players shot another one to try and get a zombie off of her, and it was a good moment. This is a game that is PbtA, but unlike a lot of them, the game hard determines what a fail result is. So the rules don't provide GM moves, hard or soft. There's no instruction on that side. So the moves are very, very defined. So you may see that a little odd throughout the course of the session. We're still figuring it out. We're still playing with it. There are some gaps in the rules that we've noticed. At the end of the session, we will take about 15 minutes to do Roses and Thorns, to talk about what we noticed rules-wise. I have made some changes on the sheets to kind of make the text fit. One of the stats, for example, was called several different things. I've called it Moxie as the default on that. This is one of the Gauntlet Hangouts games, so we are using the X cards, something we talked about last time. Again, if problematic material comes up, simply do the X or send a note regarding that. So what I want to do is have, and I should explain, if you're watching this and you've watched the first video, you will note that two of our players are gone. One of them had a business project get pushed forward, a work project, and the other one literally missed their boat. So they are not here. Charles has volunteered to step in and bring a new character in, so we have a third. I always like to have at least 3. I think that's a good number to run with. One final note of logistics before I go on. We will take a break at the midpoint. If I don't call break, and you guys are like, we need to take a break, you need to tell me. And also, I have a Hoosier accent and I talk fast, so if you don't understand what I'm saying, just say, what the hell, lol. So feel free to do that, because it will happen from time to time. So I'm going to have the characters introduce themselves, the 2 that we have established, and then we're going to talk with Charles about his character, and then we're going to put everybody in context, and I'm going to kill them all. So let's start with Marcy Betancourt.
Hi, I'm Marcy Betancourt. My playbook is The College Girl. My dad and mom moved down here because dad's a NASA scientist. Both of them are very excited about me going to college, and I'm going to Duke, which is really far away. I'm a pretty good athlete because my grandmother, I'm not sure if it's this grandmother or the other side of grandmother, played baseball, and she taught me more than a little bit, and I played stickball as a kid, and then when I developed boobs, they wouldn't play baseball with me anymore, but that's fine. It's not a big deal. I'm a college girl, but I'm not the smartest knife in the drawer, but I fake it more or less well enough. But zombies are here, so that doesn't matter so much anymore.
And remind me, what did you choose as your major?
Right. I chose undecided.
Okay. So how does that work So you think, okay, how does that work with your move major?
Yeah. I think that if it's any part of the base core curriculum, I've got a shot at maybe faking it. So
Okay.
anything 101 level, I'll rock it. It'll be
Math
good.
101, reading 101, writing. Okay,
Yep.
sounds good. Composition. All right.
Composition. I've got a composition book in my bag.
Yes. So tell me, last time I gave you an advance, and so you were able to get a new move. What move did you take as your additional move?
Well, I only had 2 to choose from that I didn't already have.
But you
And
could take the advanced moves from the playbook.
I don't know what the rules are for taking advanced moves, so I didn't do that.
No, I said you could take those because I said the last time that there were no rules for when you could take it. Except, well, no, you could. The rules say as soon as you get an advance, you can take the advanced moves. You just can't start with them.
For children, oh, that's interesting. So under the advanced moves under college goal, it says advanced moves for children are either taken from another child playbook or a starting move from an adult playbook. So the college goal is a child? Anyway, that's fine. It's no problem. I did not want to take Golden Age Reader. It just didn't fit my concept of Marcy. So I took Sorority Sister, which rolls on congeniality, at which I stink. And it allows me to make friends, fit in, and being considered a part of it all, which when running from zombies is really important.
Absolutely. All right. All right. And we have your nice lower third. Rich is a master of that and has a character of a striking appearance there. So we know what she looks like.
That's right.
Let's hear then from Frida Berlin. Josh, tell us about Frida.
All right, I'm playing Frida. It is the Scout playbook. So, she was raised by a single father. Something happened to her mother early on. I believe I stated that she died in childbirth. Her father was previously in the military, kind of was a vagabond afterwards, never really fit in, kind of moved from place to place, and was very much constantly that there was something going to happen, mostly, you know, Cold War-ish type of thinking. So, you know, her whole life has just been doomsday prep, and you know, she's a Girl Scout. She doesn't really pay attention in school, but anything that might be helpful during doomsday, that's what she would pay attention to. But she's got lots of badges, pretty smart. And if you have seen the show Orange is the New Black, it is completely based on the character by the same name. So.
And what did you take for your additional move?
I took from the Trickster or Prankster or whatever that playbook is called.
Troublemaker, right?
Troublemaker, yes. That's his name. I took his move. Let's see, what was it called? Bag of Tricks. It's a special gear. Troublemakers always seem to have the right tools at their disposal, whether it's a frog to shove down someone's dress or a set of darts to strategically place and make someone shriek, but not do much damage. So basically, I can pull anything out of my backpack that I might need.
Awesome. And then it definitely fits with the way you established things last time with the backpack. You pulled the BB gun out and things. So that's good. I like that a lot. Is there anything else? We established that you haven't had contact with your dad. You tried to contact him via the shortwave, but haven't been able to get a hold of him.
Okay.
You can also at the end of a scene where you have a chance to kind of catch your breath, you can clear that courage damage that you've got there. So go ahead and clear that mark. We'll start with you fresh on that score. All right, Charles, are you ready to tell us about your character?
Yeah, I think ready as I'm gonna be.
Okay.
Just one kind of out of game question.
Please.
It usually encourages. I think there's always some stuff about gear. Actually, it doesn't explicitly say anything about gear here, but I don't think I could play a granny without cats.
That makes sense
in this game. So I've got 2 of those, Rascal and Scooter. If that's okay.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So I've got my cats. I'm happy now. And all right. I'm Millie Betancourt. My Marcy is my granddaughter, and I've been through a lot, and I was a flapper in the 20s. I was hanging around with Count Basie's band and followed them around a bit, and was a dancer with them, and I don't exactly still got it, but I remember a few of the tunes and can hum them out as a nostalgic reminder of nicer times. My knitting is not terribly neat, but I like to listen to my radio and my music. My husband, of course, has been gone for quite some time. Dear David, and he we had just ended up moved here with a bit of a nest egg, and being sometimes Marcy's mother would come to take care of me every once in a while. But with
all right
conditions around being blind and deaf, I can at least still keep up some cooking. Not 100% blind and deaf, but certainly limited in senses.
Okay.
I took the grandma's house instead of the survivor. I was out of character note. I was the question about the Gonzo thing was, oh hey, there's this thing with +2 Moxie with a performance background, and just like total crazy Moxie survivor, like tank grandma. But okay, we don't. So tone thing shifted me to say, oh, grandma's house, sweet and place of calm and refuge. So
okay,
that's what I'm going for.
Sure. So to just give you some context to where we're at, the city that we're in or the town is Cape Canaveral. This is late 1950s. It is Florida. This is the time period when NASA is taking over Cape Canaveral. So there's a lot of scientists and technicians moving in, and the group is in a kind of suburb of the inland town of Cape Canaveral, sort of a ways away, a drive-to place, small town attached to a larger town, but still a lot of construction, so a lot of road distance between places. Also, still significant military presence. And Marcy's father moved here just a few years ago. He's a scientist with NASA, and he bought a very nice house and actually bought some land that the city had sort of previously used as public space, and so has gotten some askance looks from that. So let me ask you this, Millie. What do you think of your granddaughter, Marcy? She's a college girl. She goes to Duke, but she's also, has done that baseball thing. What's your take on her? Is she a good granddaughter? We'll obviously negotiate this with
not being particularly smart myself, I don't really see the value in all that education. I don't really think she'll really need it. She's such a good baseball player, and presuming someone's told me about the zombie apocalypse.
Not yet.
Oh, okay, great.
Not yet.
That'll be fun.
We'll come to that.
Great. Maybe that baseball skill will just come in handy, or she'll be a terrific athlete. I don't know. I didn't really know that girls could be athletes. Like that's maybe that's a nice way to stay in shape to find a good husband.
Absolutely. Now, we've established some stuff about Frida Berlin, about this young girl whose father is kind of a crazy, I don't want to say crazy, is a survivalist type with some strong enthusiasms in the area, and some strong beliefs about the commies and about the coming invasion by the Ruskies and their Cuban sycophant minions. So what have you heard about Frida or about her father?
I'd heard he had served. Her father had gotten some kind of special military honor. So despite their eccentricities, my wisdom would make me think that maybe he's one of those special forces guys.
Oh, okay. What are the ranking people? Okay. On the flip side of that, Frida, you've probably seen Millie around town. What's your impression of her?
She seems like a nice old lady, but my dad probably would say there ain't no way she's going to survive. Because of not being able to see or hear very well, and just kind of always, part of the doomsday prep is surrounding yourself with people that would, be helpful. So she might not think she'd be too helpful.
Excellent. And Marcy, what is your take on your mother?
Grandmother?
Sorry, grandmother.
It's okay.
Do we have a name for the mother? It might help, but
sure. It shouldn't be an M name.
Oh yeah, I didn't even see that. For what it's worth,
no, it's amusing. To me, actually, let's go with Gladys.
Oh, actually, I think it has to end with an E, so it has to be like Dolly.
Oh, okay.
I actually wanted to go with an M name. Let's go with an M name, Gladys.
No, they get confused then.
Yeah, I would say not to do that, or I will never. The three will. Here's the thing. Charles, here's the thing. Once Lowell gets a name wrong, he'll get it wrong forever.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I do that a lot.
Careful.
Too. I was a running joke in another camp. I was maybe Maggie and or Molly.
Okay. We'll go with Maggie because we've already got a Molly.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to write that down. And then I'm going to refer to her as your mom throughout, Marcy. So,
thank you.
Marcy, what is your take on your grandmother, Millie Betancourt, with her two lovely cats? And
she's my grandma. I love her. Your cats are fine. They're not a problem. They don't hate me. I don't know. She's cool. She's a grandma. What's not to like about grandmas? Occasionally she has pennies in a jar and she gives them to me. I don't. I usually hide them in her couch cushion. But I appreciate the intent.
That sounds good. That sounds good to me.
You always know exactly how many you're getting too, because I've got them stored in little jars, and I always keep a running tally on paper for these things. And that's not something I just made up. My grandma literally did that.
Oh my gosh. Wow. So I do want to say one thing with the deaf and blind thing, or the limited the visual and audio impairment. One of the strong points the book makes is that in the course of this dramatic structure is that is more of a fictional narrative thing. It doesn't have any mechanical limits. Mm-hmm. The author herself is strongly visually impaired. So there's a strong talk about overcoming the limits of disability in the game. So just to keep that on the table as we're playing through here. So this is what happened last time. All hell broke loose. And our team of 4 now cut down to 2 protagonists were effectively trapped at the school just as a storm is breaking out. We had a teacher and a school nurse who were there, along with one of the students who was there to talk about a science project. And while we were there, when the storm was breaking out, there was a small accident as Marcy dinged her father's car. Well, actually parked it, and then it was scraped, right? Somebody.
Yes, that's exactly what happened, even if it's not true. It is actually true, but whether or not, that is my story. I'm the only one who saw it, and that's the truth.
Yeah. So she went into the school to call and see about getting this, this taken care of, because her dad was going to yell at her. While she was in there and everyone was starting to talk, someone actually T-boned the car out front, smashed in. They went outside. There's a person injured in that. Even as they were starting to deal with that, they saw a truck smash into the front window of the essentially little 5 and dime store across the way, Molly's, smashed through there and actually pinned somebody who was in the store, and Molly was screaming. People went in different directions, and at that point, the dead began to come back and attack the living. The nurse was attacked by the person in the car, and it was up to Marcy and Frida to, between the BB gun and the paddle to get that person off of her. There was then some running that went on over towards the horde of zombies, and the Molly, the owner of the store, to rescue her. Long story short, the group eventually managed to make it back to the school with both the teacher and the nurse much worse for wear. Marcy and Frida have mostly escaped harm in this situation, but when you guys get in there, both the teacher and the nurse are going to collapse. Which brings us to a start of session move for you two. I need Marcy and Frida to both roll a flat 2d6.
Do we have a rolling room?
Yes. Completely exciting macabre.
All right. I thought I'd actually stuck that somewhere in the, but I couldn't find it anyway. Thank you very much. So flat 2d6, huh?
Flat 2d6.
Yay. I'm just going to re-roll my orange, which actually looks golden to me, but that's...
That looks like yellow to me.
Yellow. Golden. Golden sounds cooler than yellow.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh, man, there's like no pictures now.
You blew them away.
No, he's doing some changes to the UI.
But that's a 10.
Yeah. I hope I want to roll high.
Yes, you do. You do want to roll high. And what about you, Frida? What did you roll?
Sorry, things got a little weird on me.
Okay.
I rolled a 3.
You rolled a 3. Well, the good news is you get to mark 1 box of infection on your character sheet. So I'm going to come and bring in Millie in just a second, if that's okay. I want to start with Marcy and Frida and see what they're doing, and then I'm going to roll you on into that, if that seems cool with you, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
My only concern is when I get to rolling dice, I don't really have a space set up. Should I do that myself, or you want to?
Yeah, you can do that. Just make 2d6, and here I can actually eliminate a couple of these dice. We'll get those out of the way. Whoops. Multiple people selecting multiples. God bless it. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, so that's all set. We'll get that. So Frida, Marcy, you've gotten them inside, and the person who looks the worst is the nurse. She is definitely has been hurt badly, and she is bleeding from the arm. Whereas your teacher, she just kind of Rosie just kind of sort of sinks to the floor and looks pale and exhausted. The shopkeeper, Molly, is there, and she's just kind of almost catatonic at this point. So what do you do, Marcy?
Well, she's almost catatonic, so I doubt she's responsive. There's got to be a clinic here. It's a high school, right? So I'll look around for a nurse's office, and maybe we can carry her in to put her on a bed or a gurney or a couch, whatever they have in the clinic. And that's important.
In the nurse's office, which one do you want to get to the nurse's office?
The nurse, so she can help other people. I think her first, yeah.
All right. So that seems like a thing we don't necessarily need you to roll for. You can haul her down to there. She'll get to the office. There is like an examination table. And you kind of set her there, and rather than doing anything else, she just kind of lays down on the table.
Okay. I will get you some aspirin.
Okay. She looks. She kind of mouths something.
Okay. I'll fuss around with her for a bit, but I also need to follow up with that little wild child and make sure she hasn't caused any troubles. She actually thought a BB gun would work against one of those creatures.
We'll come back to the BB gun wielding feral child. You're left here with your teacher, who looks like she's exhausted, and this freaking out adult. What do you do?
I'm not really sure what to do. It's like, calm down. What happened out there? I heard gunshots.
And you can see now as she kind of lifts up, and she has a gun. She has essentially a Browning sidearm.
Where is the nurse right now?
Right now, Marcy has taken the nurse to the nurse's office.
So, who got shot? It looked like the nurse wasn't doing good.
It's 'cause and then they came. They were dead, but they were still moving around. And she just looks absolutely freaked out right now.
I want to see if I can take the gun from her. I know that she needs to hold it, and I'm probably a better shot anyway.
Okay. I think that's actually going to be a. Most of the physical things are kind of a brawn roll to represent both speed and strength and so on. So let's have you make a brawn roll to get that away from her.
That is an 11.
11. So yeah, you can reach over and you can get that, and you have, and it's probably not Brian, it's probably like a Colt, sidearm pistol. It's had a number of shots fired from it, but you can tell by the weight of it that it still has some shots in the clip.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to.
So you're holding that gun. Marcy, you come back out in the hall to see what's going on with the child and the teacher, and you can see that she has the Colt pistol in her hands now.
Jumping Jehoshaphat! What? Where did you get that gun?
I took it from her. I say, just pointing with my finger.
Do you know how to shoot?
I bet I'm the best shot here.
Okay.
My dad's taught me since I was a little girl.
Okay. Well, all right then. We just need to make sure that nobody can get in any of the doors, especially those army guys.
And now I'm going to cut to just a couple minutes ago. So Millie,
Yes.
you were doing your shopping downtown at the local Publix that is down there, and got some groceries, the usual thing. And you have your umbrella with you because it does look like rain is coming. And you were walking along. You're a careful walker.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. And you heard some loud sounds like car crash or something up ahead. And I'm kind of moving us forward here a little. And you would have made your way to kind of see what was going on. And then you would have seen your son's car totaled with another car smashed into it in front of this school. And you don't see any of your family anywhere nearby. You're kind of looking, clearly something is burning. There are clearly other people out on the street. You see some people moving around, but it's starting to rain, which is making it harder for them to see you. And my God, what's going on here? What do you want to do?
Where is the radio when you need one to tell you what's going on? Home is far too close. Where's the shelter? The nuclear shelter? Where were we told to go when the bad stuff happened? I need to get to the shelter.
Well, there are probably a couple of shelters in town. The closest one is right here at the school. It has the yellow and black fallout shelter sign on it, and you can move up to the school doors, and do you try the lock? Do you push the bell? What do you want to do?
Whatever the front door would be, I'll probably just rap on it with the butt of my umbrella while stabilizing myself on the cane, or to make it as a rapping noise even I can hear.
Okay. So you two are talking, and as you're like, okay, we need to lock those doors, you'll hear that. It's a little less solid than that, but certainly a controlled rapping on the front door.
I just immediately point the gun towards it.
I've got my bat. I'll check the door. I'll check the door. I'll go and look.
Oh.
They weren't They weren't
I'll
knocking
cover
those
you.
monster things.
Okay.
I'll cover you in case something comes in that we don't want.
Please don't shoot me in the back.
You don't have to worry about that.
Please let me in. Please let me in. Something terrible is going on out here.
Grandma!
And you see your Nana.
Nana! And I'll go and try to open the door up.
And
Oh
you
my
will
goodness,
see.
so good to see you.
So you open the door, you'll see, Marcy, that there is a group of those zombies coming this way, now attracted by the rapping sound and the noise and so on. But it also looks like there are a couple of little girls, maybe 8 or 9, that are also running, trying to get to the school before the zombies get to them. And Millie is right in front of you.
Mama Millie, please get in. I'm going to try to bring her in, and then Frida, there's some girls trying to get here. Just stand right in here. Stand right here. Frida, let's see how good a shot you are.
Yeah, I want to run up to the door and I guess try and hit the zombies behind the girls so they can get in.
All right, so you kind of look out at the zombies. These 2 little girls are running, and you want to try and take that shot. I can't remember. Do you have the?
I have a nature badge, which has something about that I can hunt zombies and whatnot.
That's so. This is going to be then just a standard fight roll here.
Okay.
So here's the thing. Here are your stakes. It's a big, heavy gun. You're an 11, 12-year-old girl. You're going to shoot, try and hit them. The consequences of failure are obvious. Roll.
Woo! Okay, and what am I rolling with?
I think probably for you, this is still going to be brawn.
Well, that's a 12.
So this you hear, Millie. There's your granddaughter's kind of moved you off to the side. There's some shouting. You'll hear some shouting out in the street and kind of pick it up, and then the bang bang of gunshots or firecrackers or something nearby, and you hit the lead zombie, Frida, and it staggers back, and the 2 little girls rush up and into the school, and slide in here. And those things are still coming. What do you want to do, Marcy?
Yeah. So I'm gonna stand out and wave these girls in, and
they run past you. These zombies, they're closing.
Cool. Let's try to close the door so we can shut them out.
Okay, slam that door shut.
And I want to help you by trying to find chairs or something we can, prop against it and lock it and whatnot.
Okay. Let's have one of you 2 roll smarts.
Who's better at that?
I mean, Marcy would do it. She doesn't think that a little girl should be trying to do that kind of stuff. Marcy's terrible with this, so XP opportunity. Here we go. I got a 6 because of my -1 smarts. Yay.
All right. So you're not able to find anything to extra buttress this door. And so the situation is Frida's kind of falling back. She's taking that shot. You're trying to brace that door. You're trying to find some stuff. Your grandmother is right there. There are these 2 shivering little girls, and these fists hit the door, and this face is up against the window, looking in at you. And the door kind of starts to give, because it's not a door that's normally locked.
Oh.
So Millie, you see the noise. Your granddaughter's clearly trying to hold this door in place. There's a young girl with a gun, and some other girls. What's your reaction?
everything just needs to calm down, and including that when I look around and see this zombie face is looking smearing like that, I just look him right in the eye, and everybody around here just needs to stop. I'm giving everyone a stern glance.
All right.
That's appropriate.
Roll congeniality.
Okay. It's not displaying very nicely for me. Does anyone else see those? I see a 3 and a 6.
Yes.
But it's in text form.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
pictures.
Nice color.
It broke for me too. I know that Shane's doing some work on the back end, so it might be a little twitchy, but I see a 6 and a 3.
And what's your congeniality?
A +1, actually. So that takes me to a 10, which is the super cool thing of on a 10 or above, everything stops. If you're in combat,
girls, they hold their breaths.
Yeah, should I just keep? Everyone must re-roll initiative after Grandma has had her say and takes a move. And takes a move. I don't know. She doesn't have that many moves. I guess I'm not looking at the basic moves. I'm sorry.
So what do you want to do? In fact, it seems to me, given how the fiction has been established for this move, that this zombie, in sort of its old, crazy, dead person brain, but it recognizes that and kind of it freezes. Marcy, you've seen the stern glance before. Frida, you kind of tighten up. Everyone's listening to you. What do you do?
Just get away a move?
Yeah. What do you want to try and do? Do you want to physically move some people out of here? Do you want to usher them away?
I want to have the girls come with me and have them see the nurse to be examined. So I hopefully can lead them. You two girls, come with me right now. Where's the nurse? And
right. Absolutely. You get them. You shake off their fear. So, normally they kind of be frozen with this, but now they see an authority figure, an adult, and you can rush them down to the nurse's office. Sound good?
With a cane, yes. But yeah, as much as she rushes, yes.
Okay. So your grandmother freezes everybody, Marcy, grabs the girls, takes off, and you're kind of staring after her. You and Frida are kind of staring after her, and then you'll hear from the door. What now, you two?
Maybe my dad was wrong about her. Speaking of Millie.
Oh, cool.
I think I'm going to reach into my bag and see if I can find some fireworks or something and make like a tripwire, so if they get in through the store, blow their legs off or something.
Blow their legs off. Okay. So let's take a look here. Let's have you roll, kind of look around, pull some stuff out, start rigging it up. Let's have you roll. Of course, it says under Bag of Tricks special gear, and it doesn't say what you have to roll, does it?
I'm just like, I don't know what that.
Let's say smarts.
Okay. I'm fine with that. Good night. That's an 11.
So what does that look like?
Yeah, so I think, with my preparedness stuff, like, probably have like flares and things of that nature. And so, I pull these different firework things out and pull some fishing line out and start rigging it up. You know, these are the kind where you like rip the top off and they light on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think I basically set those up, find a way to plant them firmly in their place, and then if something walks through the line, it pulls the tops off and igniting them.
Perfect. Marcy, you see her setting this up. I mean, in a really, MacGyver style, a crazy fast montage there. The thing you will notice is once it got a little quiet after the gunshots and things, the zombies aren't like nearly as agitated or trying to get into the building here.
Interesting.
So what do you want to do?
Okay. I'd like to run around and make sure all the doors are locked.
Okay.
Seems like a good plan. So that's my first priority, is to make sure that these things aren't going to get in here. Yeah.
All right. This seems like this. Let's have you roll Moxie for this. This is you rushing around, checking all the locks, running your little heart out, making sure that nothing is unsecure. So a hit will secure the building.
Okay.
So what do you got?
A 4.
All right. So you are pretty sure that you've got the building secured, but you're kind of coming back down. It's a 2-floor school. Coming back down the stairs, and you'll realize that the teacher's gone from the hall. She was just kind of sitting out there in the hallway by the lockers while all this was going on. Looked like she was unconscious, but you don't see her anymore.
Is Powell? Was that her name? Was that her name?
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll call out her name, and you hear from the room that's nearby, the classroom that's nearest by to you. It's the science lab. You hear like some, knocking over and so on. Door is shut to the science lab. Light is out.
I'm gonna close that door to the science lab.
Okay, gonna go over there and close it.
Yeah, quietly, and then bullet 2.
Okay. Go over to reach for it, and we'll come back to you in just a sec. All right.
No, that's not all right.
Yes. Millie,
Yes.
you get these 2 little girls, thank goodness, to the nurse's office, and you're relieved because there's a nurse there.
I'm expecting a butt.
She's standing there. See, she's like looking through like the first aid kit, kind of going through. You'll recognize her as Sarah, one of the nurses from the clinic here in town.
Okay, but doesn't look weird, like those things that like those monsters I just saw.
How about you roll eyeball for me?
Oh.
That's a smarts roll.
Okay. -1, so an 8.
8. It looks like she's been injured. Like you can definitely see that she's got blood on her sleeve, though it's not dripping. But it looks like it is definitely like something has happened to her. You don't know if she was in the crash or what.
Oh my! You're the nurse. You look like you need a nurse, young lady. But these two girls also need some attention. I think they came from out there, and they need a look over. I think.
And Sarah turns around. She's got like a roll of gauze in her hands there. A little bit red on the gauze because clearly she, her got some blood on her and stuff. And she moves forward and she reaches out and grabs one of the little girls.
You're not using your bloody gauze on the girls, are you?
And you see her pull the girl close to her. And then she squats down to look the girl sort of straight in the face.
Oh no!
And you hear the little girl go, "You don't look right." We'll come back to you in just a second.
Yeah.
All right. And let's come back to Frida. Frida, you've got this tripwire thing set up out here. You are the person who is large and in charge. That's a really anachronistic phrase for this game, but whatevs. And you'll hear from the principal's office, you'll hear a
And I'll run to the office where the radio is and see what's coming over.
book down there. It sounded like somebody was trying to broadcast on the shortwave. Do you want to try and find the signal?
Yeah, I'm hoping it's my father.
Let's have you roll smarts.
And that's 7.
7. So you'll pick up and I'm getting a little bit of echo here. Sorry. You'll pick up a voice, and it's actually speaking in Spanish. Can you speak Spanish?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay. Hello, woman's voice. Hello. Is anyone? This is a frequency emergency. Is anyone? Can anyone hear me on this?
This is. Let's see, what do I need for my call sign to be? I don't know. This is Little Smoke. I'm reading you. What's your 10 for?
Oh, so yes. So I was looking, and I was making sure there's things out in the streets right now, and I was trying to find where my friends were trying to find some place to get to, and see if we could find anyone.
There's a few of us here at the school on Main Street.
Oh, you're in Cape Canaveral.
Yes.
All right, we are at the firehouse. We will try to make our way down to you.
Okay. Go to the back entrance and knock 3 times only.
Okay, we're going to. Oh, we should. And then it gets cut off.
I'm going to go let Marcy know that there's some other survivors coming.
Okay. You will head down there. Marcy, why don't you roll eyeball for me?
Great. That is smarts?
Yeah.
Awesome. I have a -1 in smarts, so
okay.
This will go well, and I don't get XP on a fail, right? Because we don't know how we get XP in this game.
That is correct.
Awesome. So So I'll just fail with 3.
So you shut that door, nice and secure, and you turn around, and you will see that the teacher is there. Like, maybe she was like standing in the corner in the dark, and you see her, and she kind of starts to walk towards you.
Oh, there you are, Miss Powell. We have some children here. They're in the nurse's office with the nurse. Wait. Oh, that's probably unwise.
You can see her. The teacher does this, wipes her hand across her mouth, and you look at and see that in the other hand, she has a hamster.
I'm going to run away.
Okay. Let's have you roll brawn.
Hey. I have a +1 in brawn.
Yes, you do.
I'm going to roll 2 new dice and see if they actually show up as dice.
Okay.
They do. I got an 11.
You book down the stairs. All you hear behind you is the kind of the it's one of those, like those stone steps. You run down those in the marble, kind of do that turn, hit that corner there. You'll hear upstairs that shuffling. The teacher's kind of slowly coming after you ponderously. But yeah, you'll hit the bottom of the stairs. And I'm going to figure out what you're going to see, because when you hit the bottom of the stairs, you're closest to the nurse's office.
Great.
So, Millie, what do you do?
You only missed some ums, and me saying goodbye to Nora. I don't think I tried convincing her a bit with that question,
Right?
Like she's clearly she's messed up, like someone on drugs from one of the clubs, and sometimes
She's probably on the marijuana.
Yeah, she's on that marijuana, and all you can do to beat some sense into those when they get wild is to just sometimes beat them. I knock her on the head with the cane. I think that's my only option here. I'm sorry if we didn't want Granny fighting.
Perfect. I mean, so you're trying to push her back, smack her back, because she's clearly grabbing this kid and means her harm.
The kid's in trouble. Like the kid is telling me what I could not sense myself. My senses are awful, but a little kid saying something's not right with this woman.
Perfect. Please roll brawn for your. This is the knuckle sandwich.
So is this a knuckle sandwich? And I know that the cane is a plus to brawn, but I guess sometimes it's like looking for a fight, which is moxie.
Yes, looking for a fight would be if you had another person up with you right now assisting.
Okay, got it. That's the standard.
It's actually the only assist move in the game.
Oh, okay. Kind of neat to know. Then I'll be rolling. It's like a +1, minus +1 to bash with the walking cane. What is bash? I guess. Okay.
So they don't explain the tag, so I'm assuming that's to damage done.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. So yeah, I'm going to just delete these because I think that's the best way to do this. We'll just delete and then submit new ones each time, and then move them to represent. That is a 7 minus 1, and I get nothing for it. Yay! Gonna hurt.
So you are able to push this kind of girl out of the way, but this nurse actually slams you back into the doorway and knocks you out into the hall, and you're going to take 2 harm
My head.
because you come down hard onto that marble floor.
I imagine so. That is
Um,
the way to treat your elders.
Kind of flailing, trying to get a hold of your. Okay, Marcy, you see that? The nurse, Sarah, slams your grandmother out of that nurse's office door onto the marble out in that hallway. What do you do?
Oh my. I've got my sorority. Is it okay if I swap out the sorority paddle for a bat? I mean, they're kind of the same
Absolutely.
thing. And all right, awesome.
You're in a school. You're able to run around. You could have easily have gotten a bat from.
I got a bat, 32-inch bat. I'm gonna run forward. Get off my Nana!
All right. Let's have you roll knuckle sandwich.
And knuckle sandwich is a move
Brawn.
using brawn. Awesome. Just always like
Unless you actually have a move that uses your bat, doesn't it?
I have baseball. I have baseball girl. Parents taking you to see the women play baseball. Maybe your mom was even on a team before you were born. You know how to throw a pitch, hit a ball, catch a foul. You roll with brawn, and I am going to go. I'll engage this move because why not?
Okay.
I've rolled an 8, and on a 7 to 9, you can either be successful in hitting your target or you can do collateral damage to an ally, which makes no sense. But I will.
Yes, that is how the rules are written.
Yep. I will be successful in hitting my target, but just so you guys know, I could have chosen to do collateral damage to either one of you.
Yes, had the
The
bat
move
break
says
off.
But I chose out of the goodness of my heart not to do collateral damage to your physical body.
So tell me what that looks like.
I don't quite think that Marcy's ready to bash heads. That just doesn't like but definitely like whacking on her arms and then trying to nudge her way in between the two of them and maybe shoving the nurse back if possible.
Okay. You can actually knock her to the ground, and you have a choice, Rich.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of back up and kind of assume a defensive posture, or you can finish her off.
Do I see anything in her? Is she just like those soldiers that were trying to kill us outside?
Let's have you roll smarts.
Oh, gosh. All right. Here we go. I'm going to choose new dice because I just don't like looking at numbers. So, go. That would be an 8.
An 8. She looks gone to you.
Yeah, finish her off. Oh, God, this is terrible.
Boom. Even as that is happening, I'm going to cut to the back door. There's that knock, Frida.
Yeah, I hear it, and I run to the door, and I wanted to. Did the lady say what her name was?
Consuela.
Consuela? I want to ask. I want to say. This is Little Smoke. Is this Consuela?
Consuela is with us. She was hurt on the way over.
How many of you are there?
Just the 3. Please open the door now, for the love of God. Open it now.
I'm going to open the door and let them come in, but I want to be, have my gun ready just in case.
All right. You throw open the door, and we'll take our 5-minute break now. So 5 minutes, and then we'll keep playing. So one of the things I keep skipping is the courage rolls to do things. I have to.
Oh, that would have been perfect to finish her off. Dang, that would have
Yeah.
been cool.
I need to.
All right, I'll just mark that down as one of my thorns.
Oh, yeah, you're smart. I put that off, that thinking off at the end, and then get all flustered.
Rich is the vet in this. My sensei.
Dude, you are the master. You are so good. It's like a cyclical thing. I learn things from you, and occasionally you'll pick up things from me that I stole from other people. That's how it goes.
So, Frida, you open this door. It's pouring rain out, and you see these two sort of older, heavyset Spanish women, and they've kind of got rain ponchos and little plastic rain hats on, and they're kind of carrying between them another Spanish Hispanic woman who looks younger, and you can see that she's clearly been injured. You can see there's some of that sort of wet blood on her, and you can see that it looks like she got bit in her arm. And these two women are like, oh, okay. And they move to bring her in. What do you do, Frida?
So, what all have I seen from the nurse?
Well, right now you kind of run to the back door, I assume where the cafeteria was, so you're unaware of that situation.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if that was like nearby or not. So I think what I wanted to do is say, look, since we were probably nearby the cafeteria, I tell them to set her down on the table, and I'm going to try and use, I figured the nurses, she was wounded, and then the old lady took the kids, so I want to see what I can do for this lady.
Okay. So let's see, what you suppose is do you have a healthcare move?
Yes, I have first aid badge.
Perfect.
And I have a first aid kit. So
then let's have you roll.
Yeah, so this does say I can't like fix a bullet wound or anything, but I can basically clean someone up, bandage them, stuff like that.
Perfect. I didn't realize you had a first aid move. That's great.
Yeah. So Girl Scout, of course you got to have first aid. And that is with
Smart.
So that's a 10.
10. So yeah, you can quickly run and realize that they've got like vinegar and some alcohol and stuff, some sterilizing things here in the cafeteria, and of course there's some towels. So you'll quickly go, and between that and your first aid kit, you'll be able to get her bandaged up. And the two older women will say that there are people. This man, I think it was the mayor. He came at us and he bit her.
There's all sorts of crazy people going on. It's we were attacked by soldiers that seem to be trying to bite people and hurt us. I don't think they're alive.
And one of them goes,
so cold.
Are there any adults here?
Yeah, we got a nurse and a teacher and
good, a nurse.
And an older lady.
And they seem relieved when they hear that there's a teacher and a nurse. They're very relieved that there's some sort of authority figure here present. And we'll cut from that to Millie. how much of Marcy's action do you think you got an eyeful of?
Oh, I saw it all.
And what's your reaction?
In a word, incontinence.
Okay, but in an emotional reaction here, what do we see?
She had the in a little bit of to make up for the lack of courage roll before, it hadn't really sunk into her right now that the monsters and the weight of the situation. So she just probably screams, "Marcy, what on earth is going on here? I'm scared."
Marcy, your Nana saw you do that.
Nana, we just... Some people are sick. We need to get you back into the nurse's office, and we need to lock it. Or maybe we need to go. Maybe, Frida! Where are those little girls? They were in the nurse's office, right? Are they okay?
It's up to Lowell, but they may have just seen this too.
Oh yeah, they're standing at the doorway, transfixed. Just this nurse and there were people outside, and they are just kind of gripping onto the door frame.
We need to go. We can't stay here.
Okay. It hurts so much when I try to get up, but she'll manage to right herself and get ready to take off.
Right. Yeah, Marcy would help her grandmother up.
Help your grandmother up. These two kids relieved you. The nurse.
If we were being literal, she may have had to wash up a bit in the nurse's station.
Okay. Kind of get yourself up, and you'll hear footsteps coming down the stairs, Marcy.
We need to go. Something's wrong with the teacher too.
Would I be able to...
Frida!
And we'll cut to Frida.
Yeah, so hearing Marcy call my name, I'll try and get there as quick as I can and bring the others with me.
Okay, so they'll kind of follow along behind you. You kind of run. You see. This is what you see. Imagine there's the hallway. You're at the nurse's office. Your Nana is getting kind of cleaned up. The girls are still freaked out. The nurse's body is splayed out on the floor of the hallway. You're looking up. You see Frida come out and kind of comes out the cafeteria door. It's at the base of the stairs. You've got two people that you haven't seen before with her. And about 15 feet up on the stairs behind her is the teacher shambling down.
Frida.
I think we all need to get into the shelter. We need to get in there and lock the door.
Behind you.
I'm going to turn around and...
Now I need you to make a courage roll.
All right. And is that just a straight roll?
It is, I believe you roll with Moxie for that. And you have a background that gives you a +1 to it.
So that is a 7.
7, okay. So you can do something. What's your action to get past this fear? Because you see your teacher, the one you came here to have help you, the one who's been one of the few who's shown you any respect. You see her stumbling, stambling down the stairs, guinea pig deceased in hand, blood around her mouth as she's coming down towards you. The two women behind you shriek. What do you do?
So yeah, I turned around and I've got the gun in my hand, and I paused for a moment because of who it is, but I take a deep breath and just, Father taught me not to, let things get to me. So
Okay.
do whatever it takes to survive.
All right. I need you to roll heart to move past your fear to take your action.
Oof. And that is a 7.
Okay. So you can bolster yourself and you can shoot. It's a gun. She's 10, 15 feet away from you. You know how to shoot. You hit her. What does that look like?
I think, as I said, my father's trained me ever since I was pretty little. So I think, that moment of stopping, taking the deep breath, put both hands on the gun, just fire, and I think I hit her in the head.
Boof. Body stands there for a second, and then it'll tumble down the stairs. And you actually have to jump back to avoid it crashing into you. And she's laying there on the floor looking up at you. Millie, you've gotten yourself a little bit more steadied. You've heard Marcy call for the someone else in here, for the girl who was in here. The two little girls are terrified, and you'll hear that gunshot out in the hall. What do you do?
Well, I remember that the drug scene from way back in the day, and it seemed to give people somewhat superpowers. So if we're on the move, I want to look around this nurse's station for some things that might be useful, and we can sort of veil that or whatever.
Sure. What do you think would be the kind of thing that would be at a nurse station that you would pick up?
A school nurse's station, probably some painkillers, as well as some lots of the gauze. It seemed like she had gauze to stop the bleeding, and something. It seems like that things are very dirty, and I'd probably be able to put it together that this is a kind of infection thing, since she was on the border between monster and human. So something cleansing like alcohol, rubbing alcohol and gauze, that kind of
antiseptic, gauze, and some it's probably aspirin, or some sort of heavy duty pain reliever. Of course, it's a school, so probably not anything too heavy, but you'll get a hold of that stuff, so you can wrap that up. What would you put it in? What would you carry that in?
I'm going to. I had my groceries, so I had my bags, and they had somehow lost the groceries. But I've still got one of the bags, so it's going to go in a grocery bag. Okay,
so you've got a Publix bag with the first aid stuff in it there, and you kind of get that wrapped up, and you'll get yourself set, kind of resolved to head out. Marcy, you've seen this whole scene play out. Seen this little girl murder her teacher. And there are these two kind of shrieking and wailing older Hispanic women, very loud.
You've got to be quiet. We all have to be quiet. We need to get to the...
And you'll hear the front door give. Marcy, you kind of look back and you see kind of cracks, and you will see some of these soldiers start to come in.
We have to go. Where's the shelter? Frida, where do we go?
It's just down the hall, just over there. You'll see the sign on the door.
I'm gonna corral everyone that way and stay in the way with the bat.
All right, so you're going to grab up some people. Is your intent to sort of physically muscle them, or are you trying to actually, keep them calm while you're doing this?
I'm gonna try to keep them calm. I don't.
Then roll
see
congeniality.
Awesome. I'm really terrible at that.
I know.
It's a good good thing though that I get XP on, oh wait, I don't know how I get XP.
We don't know how you get XP.
That's right. Let's see. I'm gonna try to use sorority sister here.
Perfect.
Being part of the community, fitting in, being part of all. Okay, cool. Here we go. I'm gonna reroll my dice and see them come out as regular numbers, which they do, and I rolled a 4 again. So that's a 3. It's a fail.
Okay. So you start to do that, and that's the point at which they hit the tripwire, and flares everywhere, noises, firecrackers, chaos. Suddenly, the hallway is bright orange. You have flares and smoke everywhere, and you'll hear the shrieks, and these 2 little girls go running in every direction. These, women who came in the back door, and we're right behind Frida. They freak and they run, and everyone's going every which way. These zombies are on fire. So, Frida, what do you do? People are running every which way. They've called for the shelter, but now everyone's scattering, and the zombies have broken in that front door, and it's probably about that time that you hear the 3 o'clock bell go. Ding, 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 ding. Echoing, that carries everywhere. It's a school bell. What do you do, Frida?
I'm going after the little girls and try and get them back and get towards the shelter.
Okay, let's have you make a brawn roll, because you got to run, chase these 2 little girls who have run down in either direction.
Okay.
Ding, ding. That's a noise.
7.
7. You can get one of them.
Yeah.
Or you can get both of them, but you'll get hurt.
I'll get both of them.
Okay, what happens that causes this injury, that you get both of them, but what happens?
I think after I get one of them, I'm kind of dragging her back and trying to get the other one.
She's wailing. She's crying. It got that. She can't breathe because she's so terrified and crying. Go on.
And I think there's some debris and stuff, and I trip over it and sprain my ankle or something.
Oh yeah. Now you're the slow one. You're the one that your father said you always cut the slowest one loose from the group.
Yeah.
Okay. But you gain these 2 kids. Millie, smoke, noise, light, bell, zombies, hallway. What do you do?
Oh my goodness! It sounds like the war is happening here. This is definitely. I'm way past that point. How do we get to the shelter? I've gathered up my things. Marcy, you've know the way, right? This is a new building. I've never been here before. I just recognized the sign.
Just come on, Nana. Let's go this way, and I'll try to guide. At this point, with this level of cacophony, I'm just worried about my grandmother.
Okay.
If other people followed it, that's awesome. But maybe that is part of the problem, and so I'm just going to try to get my Nana towards the shelter as quickly as possible. And if Frida's around, I'll do what I can. But
Let's start with the Nana. Nana, because she's assisting you, I'm going to say that's a +1 forward, but I'm going to need you to make a brawn roll. This is essentially you're like the Dickens trying to get places.
Yeah, I do that not well at all. Really not well at all. That is a 4 - 1 for 3.
Okay, so Marcy, you're kind of rushing to get your Nana to there, and Frida's run past, and as you kind of get to the base of the stairs, because the doorway down to the shelter is sort of back and underneath the stairs, like you have to go down, like down to the cellar, and then the fallout shelter is down there, and that cafeteria door that she'd come out originally, it swings open, and you two will see a horde of zombies there. 6 of them have just are rolling out of there. You don't know where those women that were with Frida have gone to. It looks like there might be a couple more back in the cafeteria feeding on someone in there. You're not sure. You can't really see with the lights and stuff and over the sound and things. But right now you guys are smack dab in the middle of this horde coming at you. I need you both to make courage checks. That is Moxie.
Okay. I don't see where dice actually happens, so I guess
I'm just going with the text at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, tells me I should spend some time fixing bugs on this project. 8 + 2. Yeah, go Moxie Grandma. She's seen stuff. She's seen rabble rousers worse than this.
Yep.
Somewhat.
Good job.
And you got a 7, Rich? Is that what you got?
7 + 1, 8.
Yep. 8. So you kind of have the edge in this. So let me ask you, Millie, you kind of got your wits about you. These things are clearly coming at you and your granddaughter. She's like a hair slower than you. She's reacting a little bit slower. What do you want to do?
I think I'm in a good enough position. I'd gathered up my stuff, and she looks handy with she looks so useful with that bat right now. I don't regret for a minute that she went into sports, and I just want to get to put her between the monsters and me, and skedaddle along the way that they've been pointing me.
Okay,
so I just burning rubber.
Then I'm going to say that that's not a necessary roll, because you got that great 10 for your courage, and you will be able to kind of catch yourself and run down to where the fallout shelter door is. So that's where your position is now. Does that seem cool?
Awesome. Yeah.
Okay. Marcy, the horde is right there in front of you. And that's the point at which I cut to Frida. Frida, you come back out. You've got these 2 little girls. But now, between you and the door to the fallout shelter is this horde of zombies.
So I didn't.
And the zombies behind that are coming in through the door where your fireworks are going off.
Yeah. So first, I think I need to make sure I can control the girls.
Okay.
I'm going to get us. Like there's probably a classroom, fairly close, and try and get in there and keep them quiet, because I think I've picked up on these things seem to notice sound more.
So you want to go stealth here. Try to get out of the way and go stealth.
Yes. And as far as controlling the girls, I have my babysitting badge.
Oh, excellent.
Try and roll that.
Yeah, let's have you Well, you know what? Let's focus. I think the babysitting badge. That's a great fiction to say that you've got a hold of them and got control of them. Let's focus on the silent as a grave move, on the moxie move to suddenly duck out, keep them quiet, and evade these zombies' attention.
All right.
You're also still the one with the gun.
And that is a 10.
10. You get them quiet, shush them. Where do you hide?
So I get them like hidden kind of and I'm trying to stay near the door, but I get them kind of hidden like under like the metal teacher's desk, and I want to start digging around in my bag, and I think I've got some of those like screamer rockets. My intention is to shoot them out the door towards the other zombies to see if I can draw the horde away.
Nice. You get that ready, Marcy. Baseball bat, horde.
Yeah, it seems like a losing proposition.
It does.
Grandma is moving. I'm gonna try to move behind her.
Okay.
And get out. I do not want to go down.
All right. I think I'm gonna have you still. You're gonna have to roll a knuckle sandwich here because they are coming at you.
Okay. Rolled an 8.
Okay. So you're gonna take 2 harm, but you kind of keep them back a little bit and give your Nana room to breathe. What does that look like?
I think she's doing less of whacking on more than one of them, but trying to use the bat to push them around.
Trying to keep control of the situation there.
Yeah, that's what she's trying to do.
Smashing them, the bat goes down, you kind of push, and where do you take your injury? What happens?
2 harm is significant in this game, right? So I think
at
maybe
6
she gets like she has her hand on the very end of the bat, right, and it just chomps down. One of them chomps off maybe a finger and bites her pretty hard in the hand.
Right into the meat of that, kind of holds on, and it's that thing where you have to pull to get your hand out of its mouth, and you realize that you've lost something of your hand in its mouth when you pull it back.
Awesome, thanks.
Okay, Millie, you can get this door open to the fallout shelter. Now you have a choice. You can keep the sort of door open and kind of wait for Marcy and risk yourself, or trust that she can handle herself and go down and get to safety.
No. She needs my help. That's for sure. I want to try to give her some room to get in while I close the door and we can work together. She's using that bat defensively, and it's a thing to behold. And so she steps up to the challenge, and
awesome.
Marcy, get in here now. Let me slam it on them.
So she's falling back. You get yourself. We're going to come back to you to see what happens of that resolution. But first, okay, Frida, you're going to try and distract the horde.
Yeah.
So now I want to tell you what the stakes are here. So if you do well, you're going to draw the horde off. You're going to save Marcy. You're going to save yourself, save these little girls. If you get a mixed result, some of that's going to happen. If you fail, the horde will be coming to you.
All right.
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think this is probably soup it up. We've assumed that with your bag of tricks you have it.
Yeah. What is Soup it up.
Smarts.
All right. Let's see how we do. And, yes, 10.
10. These bottle rockets. Describe to me what that looks like. How it draws them off.
So it's those little ones that like whistle really loud, and so like, I set them off, but the whistle is slightly delayed, and like they come out, spiraling, shooting out, and like a little ways down the hall, they start whistling really loud, and even once they hit the other zombies, they're still whistling until they explode.
Yeah, they do that shrieks. They go over at the zombies who are on Marcy. That sound is so loud, they fall back and they draw and they move towards that. And Marcy, you see them run for that. Millie, you can see that. Now you have a choice, Marcy. Millie. The zombies are drawn off, but Frida and those little girls have to get here. They have to run down the hallway here. That's a risk. Or you two can save yourselves.
I'm going to try to get my grandma to go on, and I'll try to help these girls.
That little girl saved me. That little girl saved me from the nurse. I'll help. I'll help somehow. Just, I'm staying here. I'm ready to close the door.
All right. So you guys are bracing, waiting, yelling for them to come. One last roll to make it to the end. This zombie horde. And imagine that this hallway is now on fire because those things have been set off. There's no flame retardant stuff in the 50s. Anything here that's flammable has gone up. Okay, you got those things: smoke, zombies, noise, flashing, so on. You're running down the hall. Let's have you roll like the Dickens.
All right, that's
Brawn.
Brawn. Yeah, I'm good at brawn. That's another 10.
You run. You've got these two little girls with you because if you had rolled any lower than a 10, one of them wouldn't be making it.
No.
All right. And you could dragging them along. Marcy, how do you help get her in there?
Wow, that's great. I thought it was anyway. So I think she runs and she kind of scoops up one of the other girls, and then runs back in front of Frida because Frida's the badass in this role, so she does the coolest.
So and you run down. Frida's got the other little girl run down, and Millie. Probably the last thing we see is you staying there as your granddaughter and these kids run by, and you'll see the zombies have now turned and are coming this way, and you'll slam that big heavy door shut.
And I just collapse right behind it. I was yelling, "Go, go, go, get in, get in, get in!" Just slam the door just shut and collapse right behind it on her somewhat injured hips. So she collapses kind of slowly because like that, fall against the wall and just, down.
And it's one of those big, heavy, reinforced fallout shelter doors. You're able to drop the lock on this, kind of get that shut. And it's sealed tight, so you guys you don't get any of the smoke. There'll probably be a little bit of pounding for a while. Eventually, that will die down. And you guys have made it to the safety of this shelter. So, let me ask you guys, let's do our little epilogue here. So Millie, tell me, how long do you stay in that shelter, and what is that like?
We can stay for quite a while, I'd say.
How many days?
How many days? I think there would be provisions for a month. That was a standard.
Sure, but how long do you actually stay?
That I guess that's sort of my when I would say until the food runs out, or until that's not a great answer. I'd say I'd want to send out.
Well, no, that's actually a great answer. So, so you stay. Your plan is to stay until the food runs out. Let's say that something. What happens that opens up the shelter early?
Someone that we would scout out some sort of path to another one of the shelters that at least had some more provisions.
Okay, so even before the food run out, you decide you kind of have to go and find another place. All right, Marcy, what is it like when you finally crack that open and go outside?
I think it's eerily quiet. Right, as we're stepping outside, it's dry out. There like debris, papers, crashed vehicles, little curls of smoke in the distance, and it's quiet.
It's not like there's a military rescue team here. It's not like anyone's come for you. There are still bodies on the ground, but less than you'd expect because they're probably out walking.
Would I happen to hear anything on a radio, perhaps?
Well, this is part of the epilogue, so let me ask you this. Let's actually cut to, I'm going to let Frida kind of have the last word on that. You get out there. You're the one who knows about the survival. You decide you have to break out to get out into this eerily silent world. And where would you lead them?
The first thing, like you said about the radio, I go see if I can get, turn its volume really low and see if I can get anything. Even though I know it's in vain, I try my father again, even though I know our plan was if we never couldn't get back, couldn't contact one another within a week, just assume they're dead.
Do you think you pick up a signal, or is it just the emergency broadcast system, or what? What is it that you guys hear or don't hear?
I think it's just like we probably pick up, mostly the emergency broadcasts and maybe other people that are survivors looking for people. But, that's, I think that's about it. And then I think I'm probably going to try and lead everyone. I said me and my dad had a doomsday shelter prepared. I think that's where I want to try and lead everyone.
And so that's probably the last scene is of you three, maybe, finding a truck that's in decent working shape, driving that through that kind of smoky thing. And probably as you drive along, it is Florida, so things grow fast. So things are already starting to kind of go wild and to seed. You'll see gators, you'll see the wildlife, and that's probably our end scene is you driving out into the back of beyond. Who knows what's left of America? Sound good?
Yep. I figure our shelter is just like built somewhere in the woods, like
oh yeah, out
totally non-permitted,
And who knows what's there when you get there?
Yeah.
So I think that's where I want to stop. I think that's a good end point for this. We kind of did a full arc on that. I'd like to do Roses and Thorns. I want to preface before we do thorns. It feels to me like this document, the one that they have out, must be very much a beta document. It must be an early draft. I don't know if it's still in developmental stage or if they put up the wrong PDF or whatever. There are a lot of problems with it. So I think we have to address it approach it in that way. That's going to be my take on it. So that's my thing. I guess I'm going to start with thorns here. And not necessarily about the rules is, I don't know if I did a great job because we had that changeover of cast tonight. Because we lost 2 people, one earlier this afternoon and one just before the game. And so it's always tough. I don't know if I rose to the challenge of that. I hope that I brought, Charles, that I gave you some space to play in here because you're coming in on a second session. For me, that's one of those really difficult things. And I don't think I did as good a job as I could have on that. So that's going to be my thorn for my own styles tonight. Charles, what about you? Let's hit you up first here.
Well, I jotted down a couple, I guess. So with the utmost lightness that your preface provided, it's like, yeah, the thing with the Moxie stat, understanding what really that thing is sort of tricky, especially for the old D&D nerds like me that just wants things to be like, oh, that's kind of like charisma. Okay, sure. And then it says something about on Josh's thing, courage stats. Like, are there certain? Maybe is that a?
They have moxie rolls, but they also describe things as courage rolls elsewhere.
So saying courage stats doesn't seem to make sense. Saying you get +1 on your courage rolls would make way more sense than courage stats, and that might be just kind of a little minor note there. So I considering that it's a beta, like I do some I play around in some play tests, and this is not bad at all. The setting, anyway, we're not at roses yet. I don't really have any thorns like at other people, really. It's just a little bit of the system, so that's great. I don't know. I think the courage thing is a really interesting thing to point out. I think there's some real questions about how that operates in the game. It almost seems like a nasty-ish DM could use it to just throw in front of every move. If there's a threat, if there's a zombie monster in sight, boom, courage, or just courage before everything, and that might get really old. Like if I had to roll courage against just every little thing. Okay, like I understand it's supposed to be a scary game, but that might be that might be a little overboard for me. I don't know. So some clarification on when to call for courage rolls might be. Especially because the 7 to 9 result of the courage roll is to move you into another move, which seems I don't like moves that roll into other moves immediately, ad nauseum. I think that's. You hit the nail on the head there. That's what I should have actually written down. Moves that trigger moves to me is if you say a game is PbtA and then say moves trigger moves, that's kind of like just taking a complete 90-degree turn. Like you were going in this direction and then moves stack on moves. It's also sort of against the Luke Crane burning wheel thing of like let it ride, where the thing that you want to accomplish, let's just do one roll for that. And PbtA did that well. But then when you kind of break that rule by saying moves trigger moves, now you're getting like I've seen a lot of Dungeon World commentary where people will say, just quit requiring this before that. So I hope that they figure out a way to make the move, because it seems it's core to have moves trigger moves. Yeah. But how they make that work out, and it gave an interesting game. So, maybe it is working. I don't know. But you're a good DM. And so is it just DM dependent? Josh, what do you think? What's your take on the thorns here?
I think pretty much everything that I would say has been pretty well covered. We've mentioned it throughout the game of just how do you get XP? How do you, you know, moxie, courage? What's, you know, just all those little things that, yeah, I guess it's just unpolished and needs a little extra work. But I think you did a good job of kind of reining it in and, you know, using what you know from running all sorts of games to make it at least work for us and be a good game. So,
Rich?
So I understand that there were some challenges with editing, and I can forgive that as long as someone comes back around and addresses it, right? You know, the worry I have is for people who have the physical book, right? But with a PDF, sure, you can slide in a new version, touch up where words are repeated or changed out, and stats have different names, and some of the things you guys have all pointed out. I think that some of the choices within the mechanics that don't appear to be an editing thing, I find to really miss out on what I love about PbtA. Like, the GM has no hard moves. Like, the GM has no moves. I don't understand why you would do that. I don't know what is gained by that. I would hazard. I would guess that perhaps, you know, there's a lack of understanding of how great that is. I don't understand why. Like, I can't fathom why that choice. If knowing Apocalypse World, Monster Hearts, Masks, Monster of the Week, all these other games, and how the economy of GM moves, player moves works, why you would take that away. It's kind of like. And like, why are you doing PbtA? Like, what part of this is PbtA? It's like, I don't understand. Like, where's the Apocalypse engine? You roll 2d6? Like, fuck, that's Traveler. Like, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
so that I feel like it's a real missed opportunity. I also like, so no GM moves, moves to trigger moves. Having an initiative system. It seems like there are layers on here of more conventional style games that don't need to be here. They just don't. It's extra stuff. It's like cruft. It's this whole second thing, and I really, really feel like what was handed to people who backed it in the Kickstarter, what are people are downloading from DriveThruRPG, that needs to be played, and then the second edition of Dead Scare could be great. But right now, it is not a complete game, and it's not coming from like a place. I'm super disappointed. Like, I haven't been this disappointed in a PbtA game in a very long time. I feel like it's a playtest draft. I feel like it came from a really interesting point of view. I feel like the sales pitch on it was juicy as all get out, but the execution of what I'm looking at is poor. And I think you did a great job, Lowell. I know we'll get into Roses. You did the best you could, and I had a good time, but it was despite the game. It really was.
Yeah. And I'll say this, my Rose is, this really makes me, no pun intended, hungry for a zombie game, like a good PbtA zombie game, like one that really has those stakes and those issues. There's a lot of those pieces here, and that's my Rose. Is it shows me that, I mean, a good PbtA zombie game is going to be fucking awesome. It's going to be great, you know, and with all kinds of modularity and stuff, and that makes me super excited. Because it kind of like zombie games, but like, I played a lot of All Flesh Must Be Eaten, and that has some weird crunch to it, and it never felt as organic as it could have to me. Whereas this shows me, I can see, as Rich was suggesting, I can see the what's going to be cool about this. So that's my Rose is, yeah, conceptually great. Charles?
Yeah. I'll agree with all of that. I'll just say that you did terrified well with the little children thing, and I liked Frida's Josh's creative problem solving. That was good. And Rich, of course, for just jumping on and be like, yeah, be my grandma. Let's do this. You got to know what you're getting into with a character like that. Like, oh, okay, who knows? I don't know about all the PB. I don't want to go into any. You guys have more experience than I do with these, but I've never seen the grandmother playbook. Other games are more loosey goosey, and you can do an elderly character like that. But I'd never played an elderly character ever before. So what convinced me that they're going to let me play basically whatever I want to go with grandmother, and I was really looking forward to playing with Garrett because I loved his poutine character.
Oh yeah.
That he did for that.
This would have been a very different game if Garrett had been here.
I could only imagine. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, Thorn number 1. Dang it, missing boats. Yeah. So yeah, I had this thought. My prettiest rose, and it's sort of between LOL and what the game could be. And what we were talking about, like a zombie thing, what people want going into the zombie thing is like constant pressure of this one type of horde. My players in a face-to-face Dungeon World game told me that the best session was when I had the orc horde sort of closing in on them. And I was afraid to do that like all the time because like I'm kind of brewing up to this army type thing that it literally like this is the fronts that it suggests in the Dungeon World book. This is not hard. I've just, open up these tropes like, orc and human war. No big, like going with the tropiest stuff. But I knew 5e D&D. But my point about this, it's one game that does, this is the horde coming after you. And that's the whole game basically. And I think it works really well for maybe one-shots and twosies. But it would really, I think, some of the playbooks are constructed to be more long form. I felt the grandmother really got nothing other than that one cool look move that she did. Like my moves are about maintaining a home. Well, if zombies are crashing through our doors, grandma's home is not a safe place. So some of these moves are like how do you really use all this? I'm not really going to be... All right.
We're in Thorn territory again. I'm going to cut you off there. Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I just want to, because we try to keep that structure because it's easy to flip back and forth between them. Josh, roses from you? Any roses from you?
Yeah, I think, everybody did great with what we had, and I had a lot of fun, and, yeah, it sucks we lost 2 of our players, but Charles jumping in, that was great. I love the, grandma coming in. That was a fun addition. I don't know, there was, overall it was just a lot of fun and thought you did a great job. And Charles, I don't know what the heck your shirt is about, but I like the shirt a lot.
Thanks.
That's Ingress, right?
No, actually, I picked it up, but I'll give the folks their due. It's Nginx, so it's a Texas thing with lots of little nodes on it. So
neat.
I thought it was Nginx. Sorry.
for software stuff.
Yeah, I was getting some kind of sciencey vibe from it. I wasn't sure what it was though.
I've had people actually ask me if it was a gaming shirt because it kind of looks like the silhouette of a D12. And part of the reason, yeah, I love this shirt. So, thanks.
Rich, you get last word on roses, sir.
I'm going to go with mellifluous. That'll be my last word.
That's your last word.
You did a great job, Lowell. I already said that you did the best you could. I felt like you executed on a frenetic zombie horde bringing down a school. The cross-cutting was very skillful. There were great uses of the zombie scare tactics. It was excellent. I want you to do more zombie stuff that I'm in.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Josh,
And-
no, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say I want to give credit to Duke because Paul Edson, when we played with him earlier this week, gave me some pointers and said, "Hey, you need to be looking at cross cutting." And so I really had that in my head from his suggestion on that. So full credit to Paul.
Cool. Way to go, Paul. Josh, I really liked your kid. The background of the whole Fallout shelter survivalist thing was pretty cool, and I like how you pretty much got most of us killed with your bullshit trap. I love that because it's like totally what a kid would do, and it was the worst choice, and that was the best choice because it made sense and nobody stopped you, and it was terrible and awful and brought ruin upon us all. Thank you.
Hey, it was fun.
It was awesome. Charles, it was cool to play with you first time. Thanks for jumping in. You had a lot of gusto, and I appreciate that you made that choice of, hey, well, we need courage rolls. Well, awesome. I will volunteer to fail at that thing. I thought that was really cool. I like that instinct and that go-getter-ness about it. So yeah, I had a good time. I really did. Like, it sounds like a lot of frustration coming from me, but that's because I want more out of the game itself. But the subject matter, the characters, the story we told, that was all enjoyable.
Yeah. Yes. So much potential.
Exactly. Dark.
Super potential.
I agree. One pleasure playing with you too, Rich. I didn't even have to give you a specific rose because you're just great.
Oh, well, thanks.
Rich is always a pleasure to play with.
Oh.
All right, guys. Well, I am going to stop the broadcast, and I will have both sessions up. I'll post those up tonight, and we'll get that up there.